Sleep talks about kind of the feeling of like insomnia and like feeling anxious and the idea of not being able to sleep and kind of feeling reliant on like stimulants of any kind to kind of get you through that next 5 minutes, like if you eat a coffee or like a cigarette or anything, and just it's that idea of not feeling like you can talk to someone about it because it's not necessarily something you can put into words. You just have this feeling, and it's just, I don't know, I guess it's kind of isolating, but that's why the song's quite cyclic and repetitive. It just sort of never really resolves that much. So I usually start my writing process with like, I generally have a notes list on my phone, and each year I just label it with whatever the year is, and then just compile loads of either like maybe quotes that someone have said, or I've like read from somewhere, or I've thought about. I just kind of like start to build those up, and then sometimes a whole like song comes out, sometimes just a verse, sometimes just a line or a word that I build a song around. So I take a lot from just my surroundings. So on all of the recordings, I generally write the lyrics, sing, do some of the harmonies, play synths, bass, like collect weird sounds and stuff like that, and then make samples and play them, or yeah, kind of programming, things like that. I kind of, for me, once I've got the song, once I've started with picking, so throughout a year, I'll pick notes and I'll make notes, and it will just be like, it will just be kind of like an ongoing process of like documenting and saving things. Then I sort of flesh some out into songs, the ones that are most, prominent to me. And then from there, I'll put the guitar with them just so I don't get carried away with production. I limit myself to a guitar or like a keyboard or a piano or synth, and I'll then figure out the chords. So I have then got a song, like the bones of a song, and then from there I'll start kind of like demoing it out in Logic, or kind of, I don't know, Ableton or something like that. Just because they're easy to chop up bits, move it around, can start adding bass or drums or those kind of other sounds and frequencies to it. For me, the way that I identify as non-binary, I tend to feel like when I'm writing, it's pretty genderless. It's pretty like just being human, making some music, kind of focusing on the concept or the thought or the main point that I'm trying to get across, which often I like to kind of use quite maybe sometimes mundane or honest lyrics to kind of like just say something how it is, and then other elements might feel more ambiguous. But with that in mind, I feel like with my gender, my identity, I feel like being non-binary, I present quite androgynous, maybe kind of like kind of feminine but masculine at the same time. No, masculine but slightly feminine. And then this is kind of thing that I think I don't ever want anyone to sometimes know my gender on stage. I kind of like that idea. But yeah, I think in my music it's definitely like a genderless thing. But it's funny because sometimes I'll talk about he and like a baby boy, but it's not like a boyfriend or anything like that. It's like, I don't know. It's more dark. It's more kind of like, I guess it's slightly like sarcastic or maybe patronizing as a lyric, but yeah. I think like definitely with the first release, these first few songs have a strong kind of like, I mean, I don't know, they've got this kind of almost spacey kind of vibe, as if like it's from somewhere else other. Because I think just quite often throughout my life I felt quite other, or like, when I was younger I was like other. And it turns out like that my best mates that I went to school with when I was in like year 2 and 3, they're all like queer, or like you just kind of feel, I don't know, I guess slightly separated from the norms, I guess, or whatever. But I think like the style is like, I guess, yeah, I do play with this idea of being pretentious, and like sometimes like wearing something specifically because I think it's interesting to like analyze whilst in the process of, and I do that a hell of a lot. I don't know, I think it's kind of bad, but I always think it's really interesting, like to kind of be a fly on the wall at yourself. It's probably, I don't know, a bit of a weird thing to do. So after this release, I've got one last song from this group. It's called 3 AM, and I wrote it at 3 AM. and it's just kind of like an in the moment written song. So yeah, that's coming out soon, and it's got a full-length feature music video, which I worked on with Anxious Film Club. So the next stage of like releasing music will be maybe a slightly different concept. Visually it might change a bit, it might go a bit more kind of like natural versus like processed. So the visuals will kind of grow with that, I think. And the music's kind of developed maybe even fuller, but in different ways, more live sounds, definitely. But it will definitely keep the electronic sounds as well, because I love the blend. So.